And we're live. It's time to start the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to get things started on the Boredom Podcast tonight. Welcome, everybody, to the Boredom Podcast, where I go live because I'm bored. Waiting to see if anybody shows up or not. I don't think there's a whole lot of lives going on right now, since most of them have already ended. Waiting to see if we get our night owls or not. So it's the Boredom Podcast where I go live because I'm bored. Howdy. How y'all doing? How's your mama doing? Ain't nobody showing up. Oh, there's one. Hello, viewer. How are you today? Oh, they left. I'm boring. That or they just went to tell people that I'm alive. I don't know. That or it was a stream sniper going to set up his stream so he could snipe me. I don't give a shit. I'm here to talk, hang out, bullshit with whoever I know that comes up on the panel and whoever types in the chat. So feel free. It's the Boredom Podcast where I go live because I'm bored. And my viewer left. Oh well. I must have bored them. No set topics today, just whatever anybody types in the chat or joins the panel to discuss. Made a new thumbnail. Hope you all like it. Some of the stuff that I talk about: music, movies, wrestling. Well, hello there. How are you?
What's the topic?
Nothing. Anything. Whatever you want. Whatever anybody wants. Topic is open.
Wasn't Alpha Tyler live tonight?
No, that's Thursday night.
That's why you're bored. That's why
Yeah.
you're bored.
Yeah, he did a gaming stream earlier in the afternoon that I skipped because I just wasn't feeling like watching people play games. I was watching YouTube and joined a couple of lives that were on YouTube because I enjoy that.
I was watching a true crime documentary. It was the most. I think it's one of the most vile things I ever watched.
Wow.
Yeah, a mother literally ate her baby.
Wow. How anybody could do that is beyond me.
And I think the sickest part, not I think, but the sickest part of it is she didn't have no remorse. The only thing she said was, it tasted delicious.
People like that, I don't understand at all.
There are so many feelings of, like disgust, hatred. Like, there's no word for what you felt. It was just like all these different feelings all into one. It was just like, how the fuck did you survive that long?
Yeah. That's what I'm screaming. It's like people like that need to have a special place in hell set aside. Because, like I said, I think anybody that harms a child, that it's death is too easy. They need to be tortured and made reminded why that was such a bad idea.
It's just, I don't know how I don't know where the world is going. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's a crazy time we live in. Well, I remember being a teenager and not thinking that I would live to be as old as I am, because we always worried about nuclear war and everything else, and that's probably why I'm so chill now. Is because I lived through all that and realized, okay, the world keeps spinning, so nothing's happened yet. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I just got off work.
Cool.
Every part of my foot hurt. I had to buy a new pair of shoes. I'm hoping I get my car fixed tomorrow because I nearly slipped and landed on my ass again.
Damn.
And everybody just looked at me like, next time if you're going to do it, at least, do it so we have something to laugh at. I'm like, oh, fuck you all.
That's when you look at them and go, next time I do it, I'll do it to where I hurt myself and have to go to the hospital and get workman's comp and stay home.
Oh, I tried going home earlier because my shift ended. And, I'm already at my 40 hours, and they're like, the manager on duty was like, you're not going home. I don't care. You're going to clock out and then you're going to fucking stay. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, that'll be a no-go, boss.
No,
I'm
I
clocking
didn't
out. I'm
leave.
not
I
staying.
left for 2 hours and then I came back.
Mm.
I was like, I have to leave for a while. I need to at least eat, get off my feet for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I was working out at the base, their shifts were like 2.5, 3 hours long, but you ended up working like two shifts. So it was, you would work, 2.5, 3 hours, have a 30-minute to 2 hour break, and then work another 2.5, 3 hours. So you'd end up getting about 6.5 to 7 hours a day, but you're making good money.
God, no, tomorrow they have me on the schedule and I'm going to be working 12 hours. But they figured, you know what? He'll work 12 hours if we give him an hour and a half break.
Yeah. I mean, I did that for a little while too with the job I had. They put me in a position where I was only working on the weekends. Well, I was working on the weekends every other Friday and any holiday that came around. No matter what day it fell on, I had to work. But I was doing 12-hour days on each day that I worked. Sometimes it was only two days because of the weekend that I worked, and then sometimes it was three, and then there was a couple of times where it was four. But what they did was I worked the 12 hours at the pay that I was hired in at, and then they gave me free lunch. So whenever I wanted to eat, all I had to do was call over to a different facility, and they would deliver me my lunch of whatever I ordered, usually burger and fries and a drink. And I got to sit out and smoke while I ate for an hour. But I had
I
to
went
keep
to
the ball.
Arby's. I for my dinner break, I went to Arby's because they had the 5 for 5 beef sandwiches
Nice,
again at the moment. So I
nice.
went there about I went there about 5 of them and 2 medium fries. I gave my manager on duty 2 of the burgers and a medium fry, and she looked at me like, Okay, what do you want?
Yeah,
I looked at her and I said, I want your soul. And she said, too late, motherfucker. I sold that years ago. And
that's
then I
funny.
looked at her and I said, damn, no wonder you're so hormonal. And she
Yeah.
flipped me off. She flipped me off.
Yeah, that reminded me of a time when I was working in a casino. A friend of mine came up and was like, "I need, I need $5." I'm like, "Okay, what do I get out of it?" He goes, I'll give you my soul." I'm like, "Okay, here's a piece of paper and a pen. Right, I owe you one soul." He's like, "Okay," so he wrote it down. I gave him the $5. A few minutes later, a girl that he knew that worked there came up and said, "Did he sell his soul to you for $5?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Can I have it?" I'm like, "Give me $5." She's like, "All right." Gave me $5. I gave her the piece of paper. Fucking 2 days later, he came to me and goes, "Did you give it? Did you sell my soul to somebody?" I'm like, "Yeah, for the same price that I bought it for." He's like, "My soul was only worth $5 to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, but if you want me to get it back, give me 10 and I'll go buy it back." He's like, "Why 10?" I'm like, "Because I got to make a profit." He's like, "Fine, here, get it back." So I went to the girl. I was like, "I give you 8 for the soul back." She's like, "Okay." I gave it to her. She gave me the piece of paper. I walked over to him. I go, "Here's your soul." He took it and tore it up. He's like, "God damn it! I've been fucking going through hell ever since I did that." And I'm like, "It serves you right. You never sell your soul for anything." That's the moral of the story, boys and girls. Yeah, I have all sorts of funny stories. There was one time I was working in a Shoney's, and our smoke break table was in the back, away from the food. And this was like the old days when you could smoke inside. And I was smoking, and one of the managers came in and asked me if I'd go get something off the top shelf for her. So I put my cigarette out, walked over to the storeroom, had to climb up on the shelves to reach the top shelf, even though I'm 6'4". And as I was getting ready to come down and handing her, I grabbed a cigarette and started to try to light it. My lighter wouldn't light. So I was like, "Fuck it," and I kept climbing down. I was like, "You didn't want me to light that cigarette, did you?" And she's like, "I was kind of hoping you wouldn't because you're in the storeroom." I'm like, "All right, I'll put a hex on you for that." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "I'll put a hex on you for that." And I walked back over, finished my break, went back to work. As soon as we closed, she came walking into the kitchen where I was working. She's like, "You take that hex off of me." I'm like, "I didn't put a hex on you." She goes, "Yes, you did. Ever since you said that you put a hex on me, everything today has been going bad." I'm like, "I didn't put a hex on you." She goes, "Stop lying. Take that off." I'm like, "Okay, fine." I waved my hand in the air and went, "Hex be gone." She's like, "Thank you," and walked away. I just like fucking with people's heads. Just like I had a server that used to piss me off when I worked at Shoney's. And I had standing rule with my servers. I was like, no matter how bad your day is, when you come to the window to pick up food, you smile, or I'm gonna like slide the tray that's under the heat lamps, and you're gonna touch that hot surface and burn yourself. So most of them understood that. Well, this one chick just, I guess, hated me for some reason, and she always talked shit, and she was always in a bad mood, and I'd burn her a couple of times, and she'd get her food and take it out. One day she's like, "I need you to go ahead and just give me the food and don't burn me." I'm like, "Okay, are you gonna smile and be nice, or are you gonna keep this attitude?" She's like, "I'll do what I want." I'm like, "Fine. Next time you come in to eat on when you're off duty, I'm gonna fuck with your food." She's like, "No, you won't. I'll tell management." I'm like, "Do I look like I care?" She stormed off. Well, 2 or 3 nights later, her and her friends came in after going to the club, and they sat down right where I could see out the window where they were, and a server came up, put in their order. I was making it up normal and everything. Looked out at it and caught eye contact with her and just smiled, and then went back to working. Server came up to get the food. I put the food in there, and it's like, tell so and so I said hi. Like, okay, I will. So she brought the food out, told that off duty server that I said hi, and she from that point started talking to the server and saying, "Did he mess with my food?" And she's like, "I don't know. I can't tell you. I didn't see it." She's like, "Well, go ask." Like, okay. So the server came to the window. She wants to know, did you mess with her food? I'm like, no, I don't mess with people's food. But you can tell her I did because she's a bitch. And the server smiled and walked back. I saw them talk for a minute. Her face got like white as a sheet. She told the server to get the manager. The manager walked out. They had a conversation. The manager comes storming into the kitchen. He goes, "Rigby, in my office." Like, yes, sir. Walked into his office. He's like, "Shut the door." I shut the door. He's like, "Did you do something to that girl's food?" I'm like, "No." "You didn't throw it in the trash or anything?" I'm like, "No, that's unprofessional." He's like, "Well, she says you did." I'm like, "Okay, here's the situation." And I laid it all out to him. He started laughing hysterically because I didn't do anything. I was just making her think I did, and everybody knew she was a bitch. So he went ahead and said, "Go back to work." I went back to work. He walked out there and told her that, I did nothing to the food. I swear that I did nothing to the food. If she wants it, she can eat it. If not, he'll take it off the bill. She had it taken off the bill. He brought it back and was like, "Rigby, you want what she ate? What she ordered?" She didn't touch any of it. I'm like, "Sure, I'll eat it for my break." So I went and had a free meal. And like the next day when she was supposed to work, she walked in and quit. She thought I had it out for her and that everybody had my back. And I'm like, no, I'm professional. I may make you think shit, but I'm not going to actually do it. What up, Spencer? Welcome to the Bordom Podcast, where I go live because I'm bored. Anybody that I know that I've had conversations with in the past, feel free to hit the link and jump up here to talk. Hey, Jeffrey. Anybody else, just type in the chat. If you have questions or you want to talk about anything, just type it in the chat. I may have to mute in a second because I hear a train in the distance. But Doom is up here and he can entertain you all when I mute.
Oh, hell, I'm not entertaining. What the fuck are you talking about?
You're very entertaining.
Oh, my God. Okay. So I got my first write-up today at work.
Uh-oh.
My very first write-up, and I wasn't even trying.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the, okay, first of all, I know this is going to be a little bit, TMI, but, it's so hot, I've been admitting from wearing, underwear because, it, it gets very uncomfortable in the hot weather. You know what I mean? If you're a dude, you know what I mean.
Yep.
Well, while I was serving food to a customer, my belt came undone and my pants fell down.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Surprise!
My manager, it's just, my manager had that look of like she didn't know what to do. She didn't know if she should laugh or if she should yell at me. Like she was contemplating, like, what the fuck?
Right. And you probably had that look like a deer in headlights and grabbing at your pants.
Actually, I was just like nonchalant. I was just like, I don't care. You people don't matter to me. Yeah, I look like I don't care. I'm like, if y'all haven't seen a penis before, well, then that's your fucking problem.
Right. Well, they'll say hello to my friend. I won't say little because I don't know if it is.
Yeah, she gave me the write-up because somebody complained, but the write-up will probably go away by tomorrow afternoon because the boss comes in and the boss just, the boss is like me, like, it was a fucking accident. It doesn't happen often. If it was more than a one-time thing, then I would give a damn.
Right. Yeah, managers are usually pretty good like that. Although most places that I've worked, they would say, "Okay, this is going to sit in your file just in case it comes up again." But it's a nothing burger, and it goes off your record in a year. At least, like I said, where I've worked at.
Well, it's not. I'm like one of the most. Okay, I hate to say this because it might make me look bad, but like literally, I'm the biggest idiot at work. Like I'm literally accident prone. Like I've had more accidents than anybody. I've made more, mistakes than anybody. If I haven't been fired for that, I'm not gonna get fired for my pants falling down in the middle of the fucking goddamn dining room.
Right. Hell, I've known people that have broke machinery because they didn't want to use it in restaurants, and they don't get fired or anything because they broke the machine. It was one of those things. Oh, it was an accident. I'm sorry.
No, I'm one of those people. Okay, I'm one of those people. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like making more work than I have to. For example, if there is an order, okay, literally I did this before, don't judge me. But if
Mm-hmm.
there's an order for like 30 to 40 fucking copies, I will skip the coffee pot. I will take a cheesecloth, fill the cheesecloth with coffee grounds, and throw it in a stock pot for about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll fill up the coffee. Well, my manager,
Right.
my one manager was like, "You can't do that. Go taste this damn shit. It tastes like the damn shit that comes out of that fucking coffee pot, but I don't have to make like 50 of those." And she was just like, "Eh, I'm not arguing with you." I go, "Yeah, you're supposed to work smart, not hard." Then she said something. I think she said you need to follow the guidelines or whatever. My response was, pay me a good wage and I might actually give a damn.
Yeah, right. I had to mute because of the train. It was really loud. I had to put the phone up to my ear to hear you, but I heard you. I'm glad I actually muted because I didn't want to blow anybody's eardrums out.
Then there was a time where I was filling an iced tea container and I forgot to close the spigot as it was filling and it just went everywhere.
Oh yeah, I don't think anybody that's worked in a restaurant hasn't done that at one time or another.
Yeah, or like, who the hell did this? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I did it. It was my fault. I forgot. Fucking sue me.
Right.
And then I was like,
Like,
who hasn't done that before?
yeah, it's like I had a coworker at one of the casinos. They used to have a habit of when he was making things like big batches of jambalaya or something like that, he would get everything together, incorporate it in a tilt skillet, and then go take a 45-minute smoke break while it was cooking on low heat. Well, half the time he'd end up burning at least half of it, scraping the good stuff out to serve customers, and then having to scrub out the tilt skillet. But anytime anybody would tell him, "Oh, you burnt the food again," he's like, "I didn't burn it. I blackened it." Like, you don't blacken jambalaya. What's up, Sam?
Yeah, like literally, I don't think there's anything. I swear to God, aside from killing somebody or robbing the place, I don't think I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah.
I had several customers writing complaints about me that I was sarcastic, rude, condescending, snarky. I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? I gave you an answer, you didn't like it, and this one woman said, but you said it in a monotone. I go, you only deserve monotone, not fucking stereo.
Hell, whenever I get a server that seems a slightly bit rude, I just start cracking jokes with them about everything. It usually ends up lightening the mood, and they end up in a better mood themselves.
I hate people who, I'm pretty sure you've worked in restaurants. Okay, you know what? There is a reason why there's an or in between choices. You can have a baked potato, or you can have mashed potatoes,
Yeah.
or you can have this. It doesn't mean you can have all fucking three.
Yeah. I love whenever I'm sitting in like a Waffle House or an IHOP or a Denny's or something like that for breakfast, and I'll overhear a server conversating with a customer, and the customer's ordering and goes, "It says bacon or sausage. That's both, right? You can have both, right?" And the server's like, "Yeah, but it's extra. You only get
Yeah,
one of the
exactly.
two."
You want both, you're going to have to pay the difference.
Yeah. Yep. I've also watched people order like half a menu for just themselves with a Diet Coke to drink. I'm like, that Diet Coke ain't helping, buddy. When you're ordering 4 eggs, ham, bacon, sausage, pancakes, waffles, you know, hash browns, all that shit, and then drinking a Diet Coke with it, it's like, that ain't helping.
It's just, it's like the intelligence of humanity has gone down significantly.
Yeah, I feel you. It's like people wanting to have a debate, and they think that winning a debate means that you talk over the other person's points and don't let them speak, and you've won. That's not a debate.
No, that's not.
That's called being rude. A debate is where you put your points out there, you stay quiet and let them talk, and you put their points out to counter yours, and then you counter their counter, so to speak, and you take turns speaking, not talking over everybody.
I
By the
think
way,
the other eventful part of my week is when a cop pulled me over and he was like, you do realize that you don't have a rear license plate, right? Now, honestly, no, I honestly did not know that my license plate had fallen off.
yeah.
And I thought it was fucking with me. Okay, I thought it was fucking with me. And I was like, what do you mean my license plate is gone? Are you fucking blind? It's right there on the left side. Look down. Look very close. Okay, look very fucking close. It's right there. And he asked me, are you being belligerent right now? I go, no, it's right there. He goes, sir, have you looked at the rear of your van lately? I go, I look at it, when I have to. And he's like, have you looked at it recently? Like, have you looked at it today? I looked at him, I said, no. And he goes, okay, then how do you know if your license plate is there or not? And I looked at him and I said, because I bought the fucking screws to put it in. And he just looked at me and was like, okay, number one, don't talk to me like that. Number two, the screws must have, been faulty or whatever because your license plate are gone. And I'm like, you're just trying to fuck with me and get money out of me. That's what you're fucking trying to do. He looked at me and he's like, You do realize you're talking to a cop, right? I go, I am not talking to a cop. I am talking to a pig. Isn't it your feeding time?
Damn, you just went off.
He looked at me just stunned, you're just like, he didn't know if that was, but he didn't know if I was serious or what. He was just like, okay, get out of the fucking car and I'll show you. I will prove that I'm right. Well, end of it all, he was right. I was wrong. And aside from a 3-minute lecture, he was just like, I hope I never run into you again. I don't like you.
Well, that's one of the things that I've always told people. When you get pulled over, you have a better chance of either A, only getting a warning and not getting a ticket, or B, going home safely if you just talk nicely and casually to the officers and go, I did not realize what's going on, things like that, instead of being, rude and belligerent with them.
Yeah, apparently he don't like me. He didn't even give me a ticket. He just said, I hope I don't see you again.
Well, that's because of how annoying you were for him. Because, see, one thing that people don't realize when it comes to cops, they don't want to have to do the paperwork involved in writing a ticket. And 9 times out of 10, if you're nice to them, they'll let you go with a warning because they don't want to do the paperwork. However, the minute you start, getting mouthy with them, that's when they go, oh, okay, let's see how many more tickets we can add on to this for this fucker being a dick or a bitch or whatever.
I'm surprised I have never gotten a ticket. I am literally surprised I've never gotten a ticket.
But they just think you're sassy.
But I didn't know it fell off. I didn't know.
Yeah, and I'm sure you apologized when you found out. Yeah, and I'm sure you apologized when you found out.
No, I didn't.
See, you need to get better at things like that. When you're confronted with the fact of the other person is right, go, my apologies, I did not realize. I thought you were just messing with me, kind of thing. But I get it.
No, look, I have an ego problem. Even though I can be wrong, in my mind, I'm always right, no matter what. That's my problem.
In other words, you have.
When I'm wrong, I'm right. I don't know how. I just know I'm right.
In other words, you have mild narcissistic tendencies, not full blown, just mild.
Yes.
Because you can understand where you're wrong, you just don't want to believe it. Whereas a full-blown narcissist, they don't know that they're wrong. They don't understand that they're wrong, even when confronted with being wrong.
But then I was just like, after he left, I was just like, I have 1 license plate. Why do I need 2 of them?
Yeah, that always.
I have 1. Why do I need the other one?
Yeah, that always kind of made me scratch my head when states make you have a front license plate and a back license plate. Like, why?
But
So
the front one isn't obscured or anything; it's just right there. So I'm just like, why does it matter if the rear one is there or not?
Well, I mean, I understand the rear one. It's the front one that I never understood. It's like I said, why? So if they're driving past you and you don't have one, they can turn around and get your license plate, and if you've done something wrong, pull you over. I don't get it. Because if you got one on the front and they drive past you, then they're not going to look at your rear one because they've driven past you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same thing, driving down the road and the cop passes you going in the same direction. They're not going to look in the rear view mirror to see if you have a front license plate. Unless, of course, you're in a state where you have to have both of them, and then they might, just so that they can pull you over.
It's like, I don't know. I need two. I have one in the front.
Yeah. And like I said, when it comes to dealing with cops, I always treat them with the utmost respect and everything else, and talk to them calmly and casually, because there's been too many times where I've been pulled over and I had a cop with his gun drawn on me already because I was doing something stupid. Like one time I left work and went to a bar like a block and a half away from where I worked and never turned my lights on at night because of the street lights. I didn't realize I didn't have them on. Cop pulled me over, come up with his gun drawn, looked in my back window first, and then came up to the front window and went, "Sir, do you know why I pulled you over?" I'm like, "No, sir. Why do you have your gun out?" And he goes, "All right, I'll put that away. You don't have any weapons, do you?" I'm like, "No, sir. Hands are on the steering wheel." He goes, "Okay. Don't reach for anything and we're good." He puts the gun away. He's like, "Do you make it a habit of driving without your lights on?" I looked down and saw that I never turned them on. I was like, "Fuck no." Slapped my head. I was like, "I didn't realize. My apologies." He's like, "All right, is this where you were going?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Just make sure to put your lights on whenever you leave." I'm like, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Have a good day." And he, after checking my license, of course, to see if I was wanted, and let me go with a warning. But every time I've been pulled over by a cop, with the exception of twice, I've always gotten a warning and let go because I talked nice to the cops, and had that genuine, like, I don't know what's going on. Why did you pull me over? Kind of sound in my voice.
I like the
But
cops that pulled me over and ask, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I look at them and I go, "Yeah, I know why you pulled me over, because I'm swerving back to side to side." "Are you drunk?" "No." "Are you high?" "No." "And why are you swerving?" "Because I need power steering fluid and I'm too fucking cheap to go and get it." I actually got pulled over once for doing that because I didn't need power steering, and you had to adjust for the differential,
yeah,
and in response, the cop that I thought I was either drunk or high,
yeah.
and it was just like, you can, he said, "You need to get the power steering fixed," and I go, "Are you going to give me the $50 to do it?" He looked at me and he was just like, "No," and I go, "Okay then. See, you're telling me what I need to do. What I'm telling you is this: you can want in one hand and shit in the other, and see which one gets fullest first before I listen to you."
Yeah. I had an almost similar situation, but what it was I was driving to a friend's house and I swerved, and the cop passed me and turned around when he saw me swerve and pulled me over. And he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I was like, "Yeah, I swerved." He's like, "Have you been drinking tonight?" I was like, "Yes, sir, but it was one shot about 4 hours ago. I was just on my way to a buddy's house to find out, what he was doing because he was supposed to meet me." He's like, "All right, well, I need you to blow in this machine." I was like, "Okay." So I blew in his breathalyzer. He's like, "Registered, 0.00 alcohol." And he's like, "Okay, you're under the limit, so you're good. You blew clean. I'm just gonna tell you, you're in a residential neighborhood, swerving. Be a little bit more mindful and careful because there's children in the area. I'll just let you go with a warning." I was like, "Thank you, officer."
See, the cops in my home state don't even fucking bother me anymore. They're just like, we're not even handling it. We're not dealing with him no more.
Yeah,
We won't deal with him.
yeah,
I
you've
remember,
gotten a reputation, I guess.
I remember going into. I had one traffic violation in my life, and it, look, I don't care what people said. It was an act of God. I don't care, but you know how when you go down certain streets that have stoplights, and when the sun is shining at just the right moment, you can't tell if the light is red or green. So you're like, okay, well, I'll follow the car in front of me. Well, I follow the car in front of me. I went into a woman's passenger side. Nobody was hurt except for my
Hmm.
vehicle. My vehicle, unfortunately, did not make it through that ordeal. And, I had to go and I had to pay the fine. But, they wanted, the court wanted me to appear in front of the judge just to clarify a couple things because, they had witnesses, but none of the witnesses were making sense. And the judge wanted, my point of view and the driver's, the other driver's point of view. And I explained what happened and what was going on. And the judge was like, okay, and what have you learned? I said, I've learned this, that if I am in a wreck or in another accident, to run like hell and pray to God none of you bastards fucking catch me. And he looked at me and he was just like, do you know what you could have done? I said, what is the point of telling me what I could have done when nothing happened to begin with? And the judge looked at me and was like, okay, what if a child? I said, there was no child in the passenger seat. So that, once again, is irrelevant. What if it's not what happened? He looked at me and he said, oh, okay, I know there was no child. I'm just saying, what if I go, there was no child. There was no one in the passenger seat. No one got hurt. The driver was able to walk free. Don't put the what ifs in here because they are irrelevant. Just stick to the facts. And he looked at me and he said, what the fuck are you on? Like, you're not even letting me finish a sentence. And I go, if you stick to the fact, Your Honor, I will let you finish a sentence. But you're being hypothetical. And hypothetical does not work in the court of law. You have to stick with fact. You can't just go up to a fucking ice cream guy who is selling ice cream to children and go, I'm revoking your license because what if a child gets kidnapped? That's not facts. You have to stick with the facts. You're not sticking with the facts. You're being hypothetical. You looked at me and you're just like, you know what? Just shut the fuck up and get out of here. Okay, I'm done.
Because you had a point, but at the same time, it's one of those things they're trying to get you to understand empathy.
The cop that was doing the whole thing was just like, you know what? I don't care what happens. Aside from killing somebody, we're not doing this for you.
Is that you, Dan?
That'd be me.
Okay. That much. I wasn't sure if it was you or not because the icon was just the D with no actual picture, and it just said Daniel. It didn't say Armstrong or anything else. So I had to check.
Hi, Danny.
Hey, what's up? What's happening there, dude?
Yeah, so in my home state, none of the cops bother me, and the judges all just like, they try to spend as little time dealing with me as possible.
I can tell.
Like, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me.
You don't want to fuck with him?
Yeah, I remember one judge, God, I was a ward of the state at the time. It was just a cocky little shit. Like, I was the most cockiest little 12-year-old you could fucking meet, and he was just like, you know what? You're either gonna grow up to be two things. You're either gonna be a politician or you're gonna be a fucking lawyer because goddamn, you just know how to twist everything into your own perspective world. And somehow make it make sense. And with the loopholes, it's perfectly legal.
I'm glad your son gave you the night off, Dan.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I can't stand snack while I'm on the road, so he got a night off.
Right. But I'm glad you got to show up here. Have you gotten Amy yet?
Nope, I'm about 2 hours away at this point.
Okay. That's cool.
So, I've been on the road all damn day.
I know. I feel you, but it'll be all worth it once you get back home.
Oh, yeah. Tired as hell, though, I ain't gonna lie. Somehow I made a wrong turn and ended up in the ghetto. Iraq.
That's your
I have no
that's your upbringing. That's your upbringing, bringing you back to the places that seem familiar to you. You must have hit a dead zone because you were cutting in and out just then. Is he roboting for you too, Doom?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't like being on live streams when I'm in a car.
Yeah, I remember telling that judge that, me being a lawyer or a politician isn't good. I'm too narcissistic. I only know the law when it pertains, to get me out of trouble. I'm more worried about me than anybody else out there.
Hey, Your Honor to 2 Utes. Yeah, I had one cop pull me over when I was a teenager. I was speeding because me and a friend of mine were playing car tag, and I was trying to find him. And whenever the cop pulled me over, he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I was like, no, sir." He goes, "'Cause you were doing about warp factor 9. What's the hurry? Where's the fire?" I'm like, I was just on my way home. I'm past curfew, and my parents, want me home." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, if you go straight home, I won't give you a ticket." I'm like, "Okay." So I pulled up at the house and got out the car, went inside. Parents were asleep. They didn't care. I was allowed to do whatever I wanted because I was like 17. So I walked in the house, waited for a few minutes, watched the cop drive by the house 2 times, and then on the 3rd time he drove by and took off, I got in my car and went and found my friend. Hey,
Yeah,
Jiminator.
I remember, I can't remember how old I was, but one of the most embarrassing things that happened to me as a kid is sad but true. I was home alone, and, because I was home alone because mom had a dart tournament, and my stepfather had gone to the bar. Now, me being young, I couldn't go to the bar that he went to because they didn't allow kids. Now,
Right.
believe it or not, in my day, people, there were some bars that did allow kids in there because they had arcades, and whatnot to keep them entertained.
Yeah,
But
then there was men's clubs like the Knights of Columbus that had bars in there that the adults could go in and play poker or cards or whatever while they drank, and they'd bring their kids with them and hang out.
but I was just home alone, and I don't exactly remember how I managed to do it, but I did do it. I was on the roof of the porch because my bedroom window was right above it, but I was on the roof of the porch trying to get my cat because my cat had gone out, and the cat wasn't an outdoor cat, and I was trying to get my cat to come back in because the motherfucker was frozen in fear. You
Right.
could say, "Here, kitty, kitty," but the cat was just like, "I'm not moving." Okay. I'm like, "You move that far over that way, you can move that far back." And the cat was not moving. So I climbed out onto the roof, and I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened, but my bedroom window just slammed shut and locked itself. And here I am trying to get back into my own house. Okay, literally, I'm trying to get back in my own house. Now you have to understand, the house that I had in wasn't one of those new thing dingled houses. Now, when the window slammed shut, it had a one of those swirl locks, but it was loose. Those
Yeah,
old window
the
locks
little
that
latch,
went.
the little
Had
latch
like
hook.
yeah. So when it slammed shut, it would just turn because it was loose.
Mm-hmm.
And it locked me out. And I was just sitting there for 30 minutes, trying to get back into the window because if you jiggle the window in a certain way, you could get back in, but it wasn't working. I don't know why it wasn't working.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, here comes a car parked outside my fucking house, yelling at me, going, "Why are you breaking into that house?" I'm looking at him and I go, "Fucker, how the fuck do you think I would crawl up here to break into a fucking house?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "You shouldn't be using words like that, youngin." And I go, "Oh, don't call me youngin, you motherfucking motherfucker. I am stuck out of my house, and unless you're here to help me, shut the fuck up."
Good Lord.
You're like, "Where are your parents?" And I looked at him and I said, "None of your damn fucking business."
By the way, hi, Jiminator, and I love your profile name.
He flashed a stupid flashlight at me. I'm like, "Don't you shine that motherfucking thing at me. I'll hit you with my shoe." And he said, "I am an authority of the law. You wouldn't dare." And I threw my shoe at him.
Of course you
That
did.
was the wrong thing to do because then he called the fire department, and the fire department came out and they had to wrestle me down. I was actually sitting in the police station and they were all looking at me going, "Okay, where are your parents?" And I was just like, "None of your business." And they were just like, "Where are your parents?" I'm like, "My parents are dead, okay?" They're like, "Okay, do you know the seriousness of what you have done?" And I looked at them and I said, "Do you know the seriousness of what you have done? You have just kidnapped a child."
What up, degenerates?
Now, unbeknownst to me, one of my neighbors that lived on the opposite side of me saw what had happened and told my stepsister what had happened. And my stepsister, being the fucking narc she is, decided to go and tell my stepfather, who then told my mother what had happened.
Well,
That was not a nice night.
I bet. Hi, Amanda Nelson.
And I made matters worse because, me being who, look, I was an adolescent. I didn't give a fuck. I was pissed off that I couldn't get in the house. And I got pissed off because the cop was there thinking I was breaking into it. And my parents were there and they're like, "Okay, well, we're here to pick him up." And I go, "The people are not my parents. I don't know what you pigs are trying to do, but God damn it, leave me the fuck alone. Let me go back home." Mother was not amused. She was like, "Will you stop?" I'm looking at her and I go, "Well, call me by my name. I don't know who the hell you are."
Good Lord.
Yeah, my mother had enough and she was like, "Okay, that's it. I'm calling your grandma." And that's when shit hit the fan. Let me just tell you, before you become belligerent with police officers, remind yourself that before you go too far, don't do it when your own relative actually works for the city and everybody knows her. That was not fun.
I bet.
See, my grandmother was different. Okay, my grandmother was just like, "You know what? He doesn't want to go home. He doesn't want to do anything. Fine. Put his ass in jail, and when he calms the hell down and he apologizes for what he did, he can come out." I spent 5 days in fucking jail before I actually swallowed my pride.
Yeah, you seem like you'd be a hardhead like that.
Well, shoot, what else you guys got going on?
Not much. I just went live because I was bored. Like I said, I like your profile name. You called us degenerates. I'm less of a degenerate than you are because you've got that person's name in your profile name.
Let me go and change that really quick.
I was a horrible child.
I can tell. You sound like also a horrible human.
Yeah, I am.
Kidding.
I live with that. Yeah, I can accept that.
I was just kidding with you. You ain't so bad. I've known worse. Like I said, I know people that have no empathy and think they do no wrong.
Well, it's like I know I did wrong. It's just that
You just don't care.
I just don't care. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Amanda said you and I both doom.
Like,
So,
yeah, one of my friends asked me the other day, like, how can you not take anything seriously? And I was just like, why should I take anything seriously? Have you not seen the world today? Like, literally.
Yeah.
Like, literally. Why take
Right.
shit seriously? It's all a fucking it's everything is just a fucking mess. If you don't fucking laugh, you're gonna get depressed.
Right. What were you gonna ask, Jim?
I was just gonna say, like, do you guys know each other from before, or what's up?
No. We just know each other from being on here. I've had him on the panel a couple of times.
Oh shit, that's awesome. How you doing, Doom? I don't really know you, but you seem
I'm
like a
doing
pretty
good.
interesting fella.
I think I met Jay in Daniel's chat.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I forget how I meet people anymore.
Together nowadays, so I don't really. I could, my mind could say one thing, but it probably turns out to be wrong. So, I just met, Jay on the riffraff of YouTube.
Hey,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I've met so many people on YouTube and in lives and all that I can't even remember how I meet people anymore. I just know people. Me, Daniel, HBR, Holly, Joe.
Yeah, but after a while, it's just like, okay, it's just like one of those questions, like, where did you guys meet or whatever, and it's just like, bloody hell, we just met each other. Okay, there you go. We met each other. We clicked. We're having fun. Everything else is irrelevant.
Yeah. So there's some people though that I've met that I know exactly where I met them. Like I was saying, HBR, Dan, Holly, all of the guys in the asylum, and Jacksonville Joe. I met all of them over on a Discord called The Bar that used to do live shows called Scatter at the Bar, because his name was Scatter, and his show was like he was running a bar, and the rest is history for them. Amanda says, I'm not allowed in Pueblo County Jail since the Scared Straight program went wrong at 15 years old. They sent me to the state hospital if I get arrested, but only got arrested once since then. And then she said, we met on YouTube, duh.
I was never arrested, like formally arrested, but I was sent to boot camp when I was a teenager. I didn't last a week before my drill sergeant was just like, I can't handle him. I can't do it. I can't do it. He has to go. He has to go. I literally, I didn't last a week.
Like, get rid of this kid or I'm going to put him through a wall.
They're like, yeah, he's not, no. I had one cadet. I don't know what the fucking rank he was, but he got lippy with me one day, and I made a comment, an off-the-wall comment. Mind you, I'm not going to repeat that comment. But that motherfucker said, my God, he just kind of reminded me of Hitler with that statement. And I'm like, what?
Hey Jay, I just wanted to come up and say hi to you both, but I'm gonna go. Get some sleep.
You gonna head to bed?
I'm gonna head her. Have a good one, fellas.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Hey, Dan.
Apparently, I'm having sound issues. I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I was gonna also tell you when you were on last time that sometimes it works better when you don't put your camera on,
Yeah.
especially
Well,
when
yeah,
you're
but we
driving.
don't need to see his ugly mug. I keep telling
Yeah,
him
Mhm.
that.
man, what you talking about? I'm the best looking dude on YouTube.
It's the president of the Twinkieverse.
Right, CEO, and all the ladies love me, especially the ones
Man,
that you don't know about.
yeah, I saw a TikTok earlier, or actually it was a YouTube short made from a TikTok, but it was a guy that goes ahead and he does the Gen X stuff, and he was at a restaurant and he was quizzing people using lyrics of songs to see if like these millennials and or uh, people that work there could finish the songs. And one of the few ones that got it right was a lady that was also a Gen Zer.
What's that?
Yeah,
Nah,
he
it's all
quoted
going.
what, Dan?
It's all going down, man. Everybody crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. You just gotta find the crazy you can deal with and hang with that.
Doing the crazy that lasts a lifetime, man.
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm not
Hell,
looking a lot more crazy in my life.
earlier tonight I saw that Athena was live, and I popped
Yeah,
over there and she had Aaron Keese and Lehman on the panel, and I typed in the chat. I was like, "What is this? A bar reunion?" Because I met all three of them over there at the bar, where I met you and Joe and all the other Asylum members and HBR.
that's right. Going back to the
I
bar
really think,
days.
yeah, I really think one of these days that we all need to go live again and do kind of like a bar reunion. Get HBR, you, me, Joe, Holly, some of the Asylum guys, Aaron
Actually,
Keys.
actually, miss bullshit was scattered. You know,
Yeah,
he
I ain't
disappeared
talked to
off
him
the
in
planet.
forever.
Yeah, he disappeared off the planet, didn't he? Yeah.
Yep, yep. I don't know. Well, he was a self contractor anyway, so he probably just got
Yeah,
off of YouTube and went to work.
yeah. And I don't know if you could deal with the newer branch of, out here.
Oh yeah.
I could
Yeah,
see
then
scattered. Just
yeah,
put out that. Want
yeah. The
to deal
new
with that?
rules of hip hop,
Yeah. Just,
where if you say somebody's name in a song, you're dissing them, even if it's just a shout out.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if scattered can deal with the BS that's going around here now.
Yeah, I mean, he could barely deal with the BS when he was running a channel.
Yeah, all right. You couldn't deal with the bullshit that's going around YouTube at that time, and it ain't nothing like it is now.
Yep.
But I did enjoy his content, though.
Oh yeah, he was entertaining. It's just we all had our little falling out and went our separate ways, and it is what it is.
Yeah. That's how you gotta look at it. It's all Dim's fault. See, he's so quiet, he even knows it's
Ain't
all
my
his
fault,
fault.
you delusional bastard.
Amanda Nelson says, "Let's see. I met Dan in the voice chatting on Burden's Discord. Jay I met in Alphas, and Doom here on Jay's."
Sounds almost like a criminal record.
Yep.
I'm so tired
Those
trying to
were the days.
yeah, those
I
were the
did
days.
irritate my coworker the other night, and I think Dan would appreciate this. So, I have one coworker who, for some odd reason, is like hell bent on figuring out how old I am. Like literally hell bent on figuring how old I am. And every time that she asks me, "How old are you?" I just go, "Look, I'm just amazed that I lived this long to get to where I'm at. I'm not going to jinx it, okay? That's all I'm going to say."
Usually when people press me for my age, if I don't feel like telling it outright, I tell them I'm old enough to know better, but still too young to care.
My one manager, oh my God, my one manager, I literally pissed off. Like literally, I pissed her off. It wouldn't fucking go. One of the employees asked her, how old are you? And she goes, "Well, I'll be 21 this month." And I go, 21? And she looked at me, "Yeah, I'll be 21." And I go, no, that's way up. She goes, "What do you mean? I'm 21. I go, no, you look like you're about 35 to 60. My God.
That's a big gap.
Oh my God. She just literally stared into my soul, stormed off, pissed, and everybody looked at me and said, "Ooh, did you have to do that?" And I'm like, "Fuck, it was a fucking joke."
Yeah, when it comes to women, I always tell them they look younger than what they are. And tends to make them happy.
Like, dude, you could be 100 years old and still sound like an angry 19-year-old.
Yeah.
No, see, I had one manager. You know, she said she was 23, or is going to be 23, and I go, "Why do you lie about your age? You are not going to be 23. You're going to be 32. Why do you try to stay younger than what you are?" She looked at me. She flipped me off and said, "Fuck you." I looked at her and I said, "No, thank you. The older you get, the drier your pussy becomes."
Ouch.
Damn. And thank you, Amanda. Amanda says she would guess 50s for me automatically, even if she didn't know because of the comment I made. That age group responds from me.
That's kind of mean, dude.
I'm just an asshole, okay? I'm just an asshole. That's all I am.
Yep.
Well, she had it coming. She had it coming.
And Amanda, from your profile picture, you look like you're in your mid to late 20s. At least in that picture.
Well, look. I'm honest with everybody, okay? I'm honest with everybody. And I said this from the get-go. I'm not here to make friends. I'm only here to make money. I will throw all of you asses underneath the fucking bus in order to better my career. And they've all been like, "God, stay the hell away from him," because they're like, he's, I heard one of them make the comment like, "He's the asshole of the group." And I go, "No, I'm not the asshole of the group. I'm being honest, okay? Being friends doesn't get you anywhere. Being buddy doesn't get you anywhere. The first sign of an advancement, I'm going to throw you all underneath the bus so I can move forward. You ain't my friends. You ain't my family. I don't give a damn about you."
No, it takes, dude.
Speaking of which, I created a business Cash App, and I put the link in my description for anybody that wants to help out the channel.
But
Yeah,
you know how it is. Okay, I'm pretty sure Jay knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have work buddies, but you have to remember that your work buddies are also your enemy because they're also trying to advance their careers.
Well, I
So
mean, not necessarily enemy, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
You can be nice to them, you can be friendly, but yet still at the same time, you can't trust them as far as you can fucking spit.
Right. I feel you. We keeping you awake there, Dan?
Yeah, I'm still here. Just listening. They're driving through construction, so I'm kind of paying attention.
I got you.
Around here, it's construction.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I got you. I just making sure that you aren't falling asleep behind the wheel.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
It's all great.
My hands started to hurt, though. I ain't gonna lie. I was there holding the steering wheel forever. Because I've had carpal tunnel surgeries, so drive
Right.
from the, nerve damage or whatever. So sometimes holding the steering wheel for a very long time make my hands hurt.
Yeah, I feel you.
And
I usually drive one-handed because the way my steering wheel is designed, I can grab it from the bottom. So I'll usually kick back and just be steering with my right hand while smoking with my left.
look your bad self, bud.
And Amanda says that picture is a year old and she's 36, which that's cool. You look a lot younger than you are.
Oh shit, what's going on here?
The one coworker who is, I think she's 19, she asked me earlier today what I do after I get off work, and I looked at her and I'm like, lady, you are like 19 years old. You only work about 12 hours a fucking week. I work about 10 to 12 hour shifts. Well, I was like, I'm gonna be honest here. I work 40 hours a fucking week. It's 80 hours every 2 weeks. The only thing I fucking do when I get off work is light one up, drink a beer, and then go to fucking bed, because you know what? My feet and my back hurt by the time I get off work that I don't feel like doing anything fucking else.
Yep. Usually when people ask me at work what I do for in my free time, I said whatever the fuck I feel like.
Damn right.
I tell them not to be mean, but it's just whatever I fucking feel like.
Well, it's like, okay, she's 19 years old. She still lives at home with mommy and daddy. So, this really isn't a job per se to her. It's just like something in her free time. And I actually pointed that out to her. I'm like, you don't even take this place seriously. And she looked at me and she said, well, I just need a little extra money. It's not like I want to actually, make a career out of this. And it's just like, well, see, that's the difference between you and me. I'm looking in the long run. You're going to look back on this by the time you're 30 and go, holy shit, I fucked myself over, because by the time you're 25, you could be a manager, but you don't want to take your job seriously.
Yeah, I always tell kids that I'm working with in the restaurant industry, I was like, you don't want to make this a career. You want to do this for like a year or two while working your way into college or something where you can actually get a job to make money. Food service is not going to be a career. And please don't, because you'll be like me, 53, and have all sorts of physical ailments and problems with yourself.
No, I'm only working here. So I got one part to get from my van. Hopefully I get that tomorrow. Let's pray to God it comes in tomorrow. Because he had a special order it because he didn't have it in stock. I hate fucking garages. Have every part in stock, goddammit. But he didn't have he didn't have what I needed in stock. They had to order it, so I'm hoping it'll be there tomorrow. Then I don't have to worry about that. Then I can start saving my money and go to trucking school. That way I can just be, I just want to be a trucker. That's all I want to be. I just want to be a trucker.
Yeah. My baby brother became a truck driver and he loves it.
Well, the one thing that I like about the company that is, see, I had to pay for the driving school, which is why I have to save money. So, because I know I have the option of the company paying for it, but at the same time, I'm very pessimistic. I don't trust anybody. I don't. That's the one thing my instilled in me growing up is, you can have friends, you can have buddies, but, never trust anybody more than you have to.
Right.
You know, because I've seen people, literally walk all over my mom, which is why I am the way that I am. Because my mom wasn't a big, she wasn't confrontational. She wasn't
Mm-hmm.
confrontational.
Yeah, that's me.
I used to be quiet. I used to be reserved as a kid. Believe it or not, I was very quiet. I used to be very reserved. Like I used to just stay in one little world. But right around when I was 12 or 13, everything started changing because mom would
It's
help
called puberty.
other people out, but nobody would help her out.
Right.
She would loan her friends money on the premises that they would pay her back, but they never did.
Yeah.
I've seen my own family take advantage of her, and I was just
Right.
like, no, this ain't gonna happen no more. This
That's
is not
good.
gonna happen no more.
Hey guys, I got
Amanda, what do you mean no way?
want to come up. Oh, my bad. I just want to say I just came up to say what's up to you guys, and I had jumped down because I'm going to be going through a bunch of BS here. I'll try to come back up here in a little bit once I get to the shit.
That's
All
fine.
right,
As
As long as
just
as
to
long
say
as
what's up to you guys.
yeah, as long as I'm live, Dan, you're free to hop up.
Alrighty. Doom, Jay, appreciate
Have a
it.
good one. Have a good one.
You guys have a good one.
Yep.
but
And Amanda Nelson, I still want to know what do you mean by no way? Because I said, when somebody asks me at work what do I do when I get off, and I say whatever the fuck I want, you think I'm not kind of reserved and quiet?
but I'm just saving up to get my the money to go to trucking school because there's one trucking company that I want to work for. It's not it's not an over the road job. I would prefer an over the road job, like a long hauling, but
Mm-hmm.
the one that I'm looking at, I don't have to. So the one that I'm looking at, the company is I don't have to load the freight, I don't have to unload the freight, and I don't have to unhitch the tractor trailer.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do is just bring the trailers from point A to point B and from point B to point A. But I'm home every night and they pay $30 an hour.
Nice.
I only have to work. I work 5 days a week, and then I'm off for 2. So the way that they have it is, you're home Friday morning, and then you leave Sunday night.
And I get you, Amanda. But yeah, I don't know how much my brother gets paid. He told me that the company that he signed on for when he first started trucking had a $2,500 bonus, signing bonus. So I know he got some money, but he was in debt because he had a wife and a kid and a grandkid. So
Oh yeah, I used to be a quiet child. Like I was a timid child, and everybody asked me like, "What?" Even my grandmother kept asking, "What happened to you? You used to be such a sweet grandchild. Now you're a lippy motherfucker."
My parents tell everybody all the time that I was a perfect angel until my 16th or 17th birthday, and then when I woke up on that day, I've been rebelling ever since.
Yeah, I was about 12 or 13 when my attitude changed, and they were just like, "Oh my god, you know what?" Yeah, see, even my mother was just like, "You know what? You're my child, but you know what? I only have to deal with you when I want to.
Well,
As
see,
long as I feed you, as long as you're clothed, you know what? As long as you're not burning anything or killing anything, I don't care what you do. Just leave me the fuck alone."
me, I didn't change my attitude as much. It was one of those things where I started questioning things, and I stopped going to church because my family is Catholic. So it's like they made the mistake of telling me once you get confirmed, then you're an adult in the eyes of the church and you can decide when or how you want to go. And I was like, bet. So I took all the courses to get confirmed and I went, okay. So now I only go on special occasions just to make my family happy. But I'm still kind of quiet and reserved because, like I said, I don't like initiating conversation. I'd rather interject.
Yeah, I just became horrible. My mother and my grandmother, were like just like he became horrible overnight. We don't know what. My step grandfather, however, took one look at me, and said, "He found his pair of balls."
Yeah. Like I said, I woke up on my 17th birthday and just started questioning everything.
Like it's just like one of those things too. When people are nice, it's just like why are you being nice? What do you want? Like there's gotta, and people were like, people tell me all the time, people can be nice without wanting anything, and I'm like, okay, you keep believing me.
Well, I'm that person. I'm nice all the time to people for no reason because I like to see the good in people.
I had one
I tend to get taken advantage of that way, but
I had one coworker, compare me to what did he say? He was talking to a coworker, and somehow he just blatantly blurted out like, "I think he's the Antichrist. He's gonna bring us all down." I'm like, what the fuck is this dude on? Is he, whatever the fuck kind of drugs he's on, I want some.
that's funny. Amanda says, my grandma always said that she was going to have to watch me like a hawk because I have the light skin, the black features, the Latina attitude. So she said the whole world was in trouble. I bet.
My one coworker, no, my one manager, I think it was 2 weeks ago, around 2 weeks ago. We were just having a normal conversation. I was like, because I had to clean up, and I just made the comment of, I hate fucking kids. Because they're messy, they get things everywhere. They just make a fucking mess. I hate kids. I do. I hate kids. And she looked at me dead serious and goes, "Don't you have children?" And I looked at her and I said, with my attitude, you want me to have offspring?
Yeah, I don't think the world's ready for Doom's offspring.
I literally honestly looked at her and I said, what the hell is wrong with you? Look at my attitude. Do you think I am a kid-friendly motherfucker? Do you honestly think that I should be allowed to reproduce? Hey, could you imagine if there were like 4 or 5 little me's out there right now?
No.
She looked at me and she was just like, I didn't think of it like that before. And I'm just like, yeah, I think you should think about it a little bit more right now, okay?
And I bet, Amanda, I bet you're an angel. But yeah, I always find it funny because
the other manager hearing that was like, she actually came out of her office because she heard it, and she was like, I'm just telling you this right now. You are not allowed to reproduce, okay? You are not ever allowed to reproduce.
Right. See, me, I've always been told that I'd make a great dad, but no, I'm shooting blanks, so that's never going to happen. But it's one of those things that I find it really funny because of my height. I'm 6'4" and about 200 pounds, 215 maybe. Um, but whenever I'm out, I slouch so people misunderstand how tall I am or mistake it. So they'll, like at a bar, somebody will get belligerent and they'll start talking shit, and I'll go, "You really don't want to fuck with me?" And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because I said so. Just leave me be. Don't fuck with me." And they start fucking with me because I said not to. And I'll stand up and I'll watch them look at me from the sitting down position, and their head raises up as I stand, and they're looking up at me and go, "Fuck, you're tall." I feel you,
Yeah,
Amanda.
my coworkers don't know how to take me. You know, as much, it's kind of like one of those things. As annoying as I am, as accident owned I am, like I own what I do. Okay, I'm not gonna hide it. If I make a mistake, I'm just gonna go out there and go, I did that. That was my fault. My bad. Oops.
Yep.
You know, as much, but you know, they find me annoying, but at the same time, it's like he's just he's more dependable than the other people that work here. You want to hate him, but you can't.
hmm I've always gotten from my coworkers that they think that I'm a know-it-all, but it's only because of my age that I know as much as I do because I've experienced a lot more than most people. Amanda said, and yes, Doom, everything you just said about kids, her 9-year-old proves every day. I mean, I've said from the time I found out that I was shooting blanks in my late 30s, early 40s. Kids are great as long as I can give them back.
Oh hell, I don't even want them. Don't even give them to me. You know, my family was just like, when they started having kids, they were like, "Can you babysit?" And I go, "Can you go to hell?"
I like babysitting. I babysit my nieces and nephews and my grand niece now.
No, true story, true story. Okay, this is a true story. I was left. Okay, I was
hmm
left with my
hmm
4-year-old cousin. Okay,
hmm
I was left to watch my 4-year-old cousin. I had to go to Walmart to get some stuff for my grandma.
hmm
So, I'm in Walmart, I'm doing my thing. I didn't realize my cousin had ran off. In fact, I forgot all about him because I was in my own little world.
hmm
Fast forward, I get to my grandma's house and, I'm unloading everything and she's looking at me. She's looking at the car. She's looking in the back seat, And 5 minutes later, she comes up to me and she goes, Where's your cousin at? And I looked at her and I go, Well, what do you mean? Where's my cousin? Where's my cousin? What do you mean? She looked at me and she goes, He's not in the car. I go, Well, why would he be in the car? And she looked at me and she said,
You were
Where is
watching
your
this.
cousin? And I was dumbfounded. Literally, I was in my own little world, when I'm in my own little world and nothing fucking else, exists. She looked at me and she goes, Where's your cousin? I'm just like dumbfounded. I don't know how to respond because literally, I'm not even connecting the dots or
Literally.
anything. I'm just looking
hmm
at her like she's crazy, and I
hmm
blurted out, well, he's probably inside. And she looked at me and she goes, "Motherfucker, you forgot your own cousin at Walmart, didn't you?" I go, "Oh."
When the realization hits, oh.
I'm like, "I'll be right back, Grandma. I'm gonna go get him." He's like, "Oh,
hmm
you better go get him, and you better make sure you get the right fucking child too."
Yep. But yeah, Amanda, I'm glad you knocked him on his ass for calling you that.
and let me tell you something. To make matters worse, I even forgot my own grandma at Walmart one time.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, I realized I forgot her as I pulled into her driveway.
Yeah.
And when I went to go back and get her, she just looked at me and she goes, "Not only did you forget your cousin, but you forgot your only beloved grandma."
Right.
And I'm like, "I'm sorry." And she goes, "How long did it even take you to notice that you forgot me?" I go, I came here, right? Honest, Grandma. As soon as I realized that you weren't in the car, I came right back." And she looked at me and she goes, "How? How
It's
could
been an
you?"
hour and a half.
And she's like, she asked me, "How did you not realize that I was not in the car?" And I was just like, I was just what I wondered why it was so peaceful. And then she hit me with her purse.
as one might do in that situation.
Like, I'm like, "Woman, don't you hit me with that thing again, that thing, that thing." And she's just like, "I'll beat you to a pulp. You forgot your own grandma."
Yeah, you kind of deserve it. But yeah, Amanda, your 9-year-old is already 4'2". Wow. I had a friend of mine
Yeah,
that was
that was
like,
the day I got a lecture from both my grandmother and my mother at the same time, and that was not fun.
and I got another train coming by, but 1:30 in the morning and we got a train coming by. They're not supposed to be running late at night. I don't know what the hell's going on. You hear it?
It's just like one of those things, yeah, that was not fun.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Rock On.
Huh. Yeah, I
Yeah,
even tried to explain to my grandmother, "I didn't forget you, I just sort of misplaced you."
Hi, Doom. I love you, but that was so funny. You went quiet while I was muted. I unmute and you start talking.
Oh, that's because I was watching this guy walking by. I didn't know which way he was going. And
Ah,
I thought he was going to head my direction, so I was just like, I'm just going to get the gun out just in case.
I'm doing good, Rock On. Just hanging out and chilling. I do the podcast because I'm bored, and Doom happened to jump up.
But I don't know which direction he went to, and now I'm just like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna pop out somewhere. So I have my my friend out right now just in case.
Yeah. Have a good one, Amanda. Yeah, we just been talking crap. Rock On.
What was that?
What was what?
I just heard a loud bang. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, you're probably hearing the train still running.
No, that was nearby. It sounded like
Oh,
a commercial dumpster just fucking being dropped, but there's no attachment anywhere. So it's just like, what the fuck was that noise?
I feel you.
I
But
hate
yeah,
lost.
we've just been regaling each other with stories from working in restaurants. Rock on.
Yeah, well, I want to know how I ended up working in the fucking restaurant because, I was just supposed to be, a housekeeper, But no, somehow I just ended up in the kitchen and it's just like, why am I here? It's just like, why am I here? Why am I near open flames? Why am I here dealing with the general public when I don't get along with the general public?
Yeah, food service is kind of like joining the military under general. They put you anywhere when it comes to food service. Like wherever they think that you'll excel at.
I don't excel at anything right now. I just created disaster after disaster. Literally, they have an ice cream machine, and I somehow broke that.
Yeah. Those are usually easy to break though because they've got so much moving parts. But speaking of food, I went ahead and made dinner tonight for my family. Didn't have a whole lot, but we had a package of ground beef and a thing of elbow noodles and a can of gravy. So I went ahead and made goulash. I went ahead and made the box of elbow noodles, boiled them up. While they were boiling, I cooked off the ground beef, seasoned it with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, and cumin. And then when the noodles were done, I drained that in a strainer, put it back in the pot, put the can of beef gravy in the pot with the ground beef, and put a little bit more seasoning so that it had flavor. And then added a little paprika also, and mixed it all up. And that's what we had for dinner. Last Wednesday, not this one coming up, but last Wednesday, I made bacon wrapped meatloaf for dinner. And then we had what did we have with it? Oh, spaghetti noodles and spinach. I tell people all the time, because I've been a cook for almost 25, 30 years, if you get stumped on what to cook, you can tell me what you have, and I can tell you what to make.
I had Arby's. I cheated.
Yeah, I know, you told me. Thanks, Rock On. But I mean, I like to do that for people. One year, back before I found YouTube and Discord, I was playing an online game, and the people told me about an app called Line App, which was kind of like Discord, and I had joined that, and a group that I was a part of kept hitting me up around Valentine's Day, saying I want to cook something, but I don't know what to cook. I was like, well, tell me what you got, and I'd give people ideas for their Valentine's dinner, and I'd even go gourmet with them. Like, if they had steaks, I'd tell them how to cook the steaks and what to make with it, kind of gourmet style, so that they would make an impression. And people told me that they felt that I should go ahead and like do that for a living, set up a website and give people ideas on what to cook and everything, but I just never did. I also have people in Discord telling me that I should do cooking streams where I show what I'm doing while I cook, but I can never remember to grab my phone and turn it on when it's fully charged when I'm cooking. But like I also said, I set up a business cash app for anybody that wants to donate to the channel. It's in the description. Not um I'm trying to think of the word. Basically, it's not, you don't have to donate to it, only if you want to. But I'm just letting people know that I've actually finally set up a business Cash App so that, if people want me to, like artists want me to push their music, they can donate to it, and I'll go ahead and send to reactors, their latest songs and all that, but only if I actually like their music. If a trash person sends me a Cash App and wants me to push their music and I listen to it and I don't like it, I'm gonna refund the money.
I wouldn't. I'd keep the money from making them make me listen to that horrible shit.
Nah, I ain't like
for
that.
making my ears bleed.
Nah, I ain't like that. If they're expecting services, I'm either gonna give them the service or I'm gonna refund the money. But also, it's to help grow the channel too. For me to, if people donate the money, then if I'm not pushing artists' music, then I'm gonna be saving that up and getting like a computer to do actual and microphones and stuff to do actual podcasts instead of being on just my phone.
Ooh,
But that's just a pipe dream that right now.
I don't want to work anymore. I think I need solid. Sick. I have diarrhea.
All right. Yeah, I'm probably gonna shut it down in a while. I've been on a live for an hour and 44 minutes, so I get it to the 2 hour mark. That's a good podcast length.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
Unless, of course, we get more people talking in here and asking questions and or making comments that make me stay on longer. Excuse my stuttering. Because I really don't know what to talk about unless people do give me topics to talk about. Although my thumbnail, I put on there, a picture of a wrestler or a picture of a X-wing fighter and musical notes, so I can talk about any of those subjects to a degree. I'm not big up on the latest in wrestling, but I don't mind talking about it. And I haven't been to the movies in forever, but I've seen a few trailers that are interesting. Like there's a new Venom movie coming out I want to see. Although I got to go ahead and watch the first two before I do.
No, children ruined the movie theater experience for me. I'm just so glad, that some of my streaming services, have the option to watch them as they go into theaters, so I don't have to deal with the little fucking bastards.
Yeah, well, what I tend to do whenever I go to the movies is I'll go either for a matinee, like around noon, when they're always all in school, or I'll go to like the late night showing, and there's usually less people in both of those. So if you hit a 10 or 11 o'clock at night show, kids are usually at home because the parents don't want them out running the streets. And if you go around noon, they're usually in school during school hours. The summer, that's when you go the late night hours instead of the afternoon. Just heard a car drive by that sounded like it was speeding. But again, if
Yeah,
y'all got questions, comments, moans, groans, gripes, and complaints, feel free.
some of the cars that I hear at work is just like, I'm so glad my vehicle doesn't make that noise. Like, that would fucking irritate the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah. It's just so wild that, when I was growing up in the 80s, they always talked about cars in the future either being hover cars or flying cars, but they always had the same sound. It was like a. And now you got the electric cars that make that sound, but they're still cars.
There was a guy who came in earlier today, and I happened to be outside smoking a cigarette. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it wasn't on my break. They don't care. They're like, as long as you're sedated with nicotine, you're okay. Okay, we're not
Yeah,
gonna make you
usually.
not have nicotine because
Yeah,
when you don't have nicotine, you are more of an asshole than usual. Well,
yeah.
anyways,
Most restaurants I've ever worked at, that they have the policy, especially for servers, as long as your section is taken care of, then you can go ahead and smoke until people leave.
he came in and he had this. Okay, first of all, he had a big ass motherfucking truck. And number
Hmm.
two, it fucking squeaked like a banshee every time he fucking hit um the brake pedal. So I made the comment going, "Wow, you got a truck that makes your manhood too big and doesn't really work properly, right?" He looked at me and he said, he looked at me, he just looked at me like he couldn't believe I said that about him. His wife was like, she just said, "Oh, I
Hmm.
find that offensive. I'm going to tell your manager." And I said, "Honey, my manager ain't going to take a $2 trollop seriously, okay? You are 40 years old trying to look like Britney Spears and you want somebody to take you seriously? What the fuck is wrong with you?"
And that's cool, Rock
Her,
On. I love Japanese steakhouse restaurants.
her husband looked at me and said, "I should pop you one." And I looked at him and I said, that's the difference between you and a real man. A real man would have popped me. He wouldn't have fucking said I should have. He would have. You got a winner right here, woman. You got a real winner here. He can't even defend your honor. What do you think about that? She took one look at him, realized what I had said was true, and she was just like, she just began hitting him with the purse, going, "Well, he's right. What the fuck? You're not going to defend me. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to let him talk to me like that?" And I'm just like, look at that. Look at the way he fucking cowers like a bitch. Look at that. You're beating on him, and he's over here whimpering, yelling, "Stop, stop, stop." I wonder how long he'll start screaming for "Mommy, mommy, mommy." Oh yeah, that was fun. She actually
What's the
stormed away and was just like, "Can't believe I allowed you to take me on a date." And I'm like, "Oh, that wasn't his wife. That was the fucking date."
hmm the funniest thing that I've ever seen was I had a friend of mine that was gay, and some guy was saying something like, I'm gonna beat your ass, and he looked at him and said, "I like to see you try, because if you do, that'll be your first mistake, and secondly, you'll end up bent over and having a sore ass afterwards."
See, nobody fucks with me, like literally. I have a longtime friend. I've known him for years, and he's just like, I go on your adventures with you. I listen to your conversations at work. I listen to your conversations in the general public. I am
Hmm.
surprised that no one has ever fucking thanked you, fucking stabbed you, fucking shot you, or fucking just beat your ass. You're like the only dude I know that can go out and voice whatever the fuck he wants to say and nothing happens. I
Aloha,
said,
Tater.
I was on a voice call with him and I was just like, you know what? Everybody wants to hate me, but eventually they all love me. Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
how it is. That's how it
yeah.
is. They all hate me, but at the same time, they love me.
Well, the other thing that people fail to realize that I learned early on is a lot of gay guys that I know, took martial arts and got pretty high up in the ranks in martial arts because they were constantly bullied and fucked with. So they wanted to be able to defend themselves and fight. So a lot of people, whenever they say, "Oh, I want to beat this faggot's ass," I'm like, you might want to reconsider that. Like, why? I'm like, because they probably know how to fight better than you do. How many fights have you been in? I've been fighting all my life. I'm like, yeah, well, think about it. So have they.
And I just like, nobody has ever fucked with me, like literally. Nobody has ever fucked with me. It's just like, my friend was just like, you piss so many people off. I've heard you piss people off. The most they do is fucking scream at you with obscenities and profanity. Like, no one actually ever does anything to you. What the fuck? And it's just, I go, I keep saying, love me or hate me, nobody's ever going to hurt me. I mean, come on. If they were going to hurt me, they would have done it long ago. And I always
Right.
say this to people. The people that are going to hurt you are not going to talk about it. They're going to fucking do it. And the problem
Right.
with a lot of people is they're all talk, no fucking action.
Right. I've told people that a lot myself. Is like, when it comes to people in general, the ones that talk the most usually don't do anything. If they talk about fighting, they usually don't. The
Exactly.
the guys that talk about how good they are in bed usually don't have never really been with a woman. The woman that talks about how great they are in bed probably hasn't been with a man.
It's just like, I can talk all the shit that I want because at the same time, I know when not to press my luck. But I keep telling 90% of the people that come into my face just want to try to intimidate you. They want to try
Yeah.
to intimidate you. That's it. If they can't intimidate you, they have nothing left because they're not going to fight. They don't
Yeah.
know how to fight. They're gonna be big, bad, and whatnot. But at the end of it all, they're fucking cowards.
Right.
I had one guy who, get upset because I call him a coward. And I'm like, you are a fucking coward. He tried to hit me, and I'm like, really? You're going to try to? Really? That's all you fucking got? And I just literally decked him, and he went down. And I go, that's how you throw a fucking punch. That's how you fucking throw a punch. Now you're on the ground, fucking wheezing and nearly in tears, and I'm over here like, haha. Now, I wasn't laughing. I wasn't laughing. I was being sarcastic laughing. I'm just like, that's the problem. You need to evaluate your surroundings a little bit more. I mean, you should have known something bad was going to happen when I easily moved out of the fucking way of your punch.
Yeah. And I understand what you're saying, Tater, but to my point is the person that talks a lot usually doesn't do it. Most of the people that are cocky that can fight don't go around talking about how they're going to whoop somebody's ass. They just do it. Right, and that's what I mean, Tater. Is like, the people that are the shit talking about how great they are usually can't even throw a punch. It's the people that know what they can do and don't say anything until you get them to the point where they do throw a punch, that are the ones that know what the fuck they're doing.
In my entire lifetime, all I've had, I've had, let's see here. I can count on one hand how many times somebody has tried to, physically assault me, and each time it ended up badly. That's that's saying a lot, because I've had more people telling me what they're going to do to me than to actually do it.
Yeah, I feel you. And yeah, I understand, Tater. if you get to the point where you say you're going to whoop somebody's ass, you do it. And I get that. But it's one of those things, you don't just go around bragging that you can whoop anybody's ass at any time. Like the people that are not really fighters.
But see, here's the thing, you know, I'm a shit talker. I'm not a shit talker that intimidates people. I'm a shit talker that if you argue with me or you're being stupid, I'm gonna fucking make sure you understand my point of view and understand where I think
Right.
you're coming from.
Right. And that's the thing is, you know, people, like I was saying, people that are cocky and can back it up, they don't usually start shit. They finish it. Like, you know, somebody starts talking shit, they'll start talking shit back, and then lay them out.
You know, I tell everybody at work, like, you know, okay, we're in a service industry. But
Mhm.
number one, that doesn't mean the customer is always right, because the customer is never fucking right. The only time a customer is right is when that customer actually has proof that we effed something up, which 9 out of 10 times does not fucking happen. Number, you know, and I go, this is also something else. I don't care if I'm in the service industry. I'm not going to let some punk ass motherfucker think that just because they're paying for an $80 meal, that means they can degrade me and be condescending to me and all that shit. No, I'm a human fucking being.
Right.
Fuck that shit.
One of my favorite things is working in food service. You'll get the manager coming back going, a person found a hair in their food, and because I have long hair, they always want to say it's me. And then I'll grab it and look, and I'll go, this is a blonde hair. I don't have blonde hair. I have brown hair. So you might want to look at one of your servers or the person themselves.
We had a customer, and we were watching this. Okay, we were watching this, but this customer is a regular. The person lives, you know, around in the general area, but he comes in every so often. He's a constant complainer. You know what they are. He's a constant complainer. Nothing is ever perfect. Something is always wrong. Something is always cold. Something is always missing. You know, whatever. He finds something to complain about. Well, he came in the other day, and he said that he had a fly in his food. So he proceeded to open up his food, you know, and show us this little fly. Now, number one, we don't have flies in the kitchen, okay?
Right.
Because, you know, health inspector and shit, you know, everything is sanitized, everything has to be wiped down, all the garbage has to be taken out. Does that mean that there isn't flies from time to time? No. But what I'm saying is that in the kitchen, in the general area where we work at, there aren't flies, because we go above and beyond to keep the flies gone, because they can wreak havoc. Well, anyways, I just got irritated with him. I went outside to the dumpster with a glass jar and literally trapped a bunch of flies in this little jar. I kid you not, I did. I trapped a whole bunch of flies in this little jar. And I came back in. My manager on duty was like, "What are you going to do with that jar of flies?" And I just said, "Your best bet right now is to stay in your office and act like you don't know anything, okay? Because you're not going to like what I'm going to do. And it's best for you to play stupid, because if you don't play stupid, it's going to be your ass on the line too. So just stay in your office, look adorable, and look like you're doing something." He knew what I meant by that and didn't even argue with me. Just went into her office, shut the door, and started pretending like she was doing something. I went to the customer, opened up the jar really quickly, turned it upside down on top of the food, and I was like, "Does this satisfy you?" He looked at me and he said, you didn't just, you know, he started stuttering, and I go, "Motherfucker, there's no flies in this restaurant. None whatsoever. Number two, the fly is plastic. Yes, it's a plastic fucking fly. You came back in here thinking that you were going to get, something for whatever reason. I don't know what the
Right.
fuck you're expecting to get, but it's a plastic
Seafood.
fly. These are real flies. Now, you can take this food and you can leave the establishment and you can go home and you can wallow that you're in your little fucking world that your plan didn't work. And he said to me, I'm gonna talk to your manager. I looked at him and I said to him right then and there. Number one, my manager is not here. That was a lie. Number two, ain't nobody gonna fucking believe you because number one, it's a plastic fucking fly. So what I did, literally what I did, counteracts that little fucking plastic fly. Number three, I have the right to refuse service to you. And number four, when I tell you to get out and you say no, that is trespassing and I can have you literally arrested. Do you want to try with me today?
Yeah.
He didn't want to try with me that day. He left. But he did call the manager, and the manager was just like, and the manager told me he called, but, I just said, I'll have a word with him. And that was the end of it. Like, the manager was just like, that's all I said is I'd have a word with him.
Yeah. That's a usual response from management, especially when they like you. But what's funny is you talk about, food with the plastic fly. We have a restaurant down here called the Blowfly Inn. And one of their things that they do is every piece of food that goes out of the kitchen has a plastic fly on it because it's the Blowfly Inn. Somewhere on the rim of the plate or on the rim of the soup cup or bowl or whatever, they put a plastic fly.
I remember he came in one night a couple weeks ago. It was a couple weeks ago. But he came in and, because we can do orders to go.
Mm-hmm.
And he ordered something. Well, he started walking out of the restaurant, stopped mid-tracks, turned around, and started yelling at my coworker. Now, number one, I don't care who you are. Okay, I don't care I don't care if you are, the King of England or the Queen of the Night, whatever. I don't care what your background is. If somebody makes a mistake, that does not give you a reason to be a complete asshole and literally degrade somebody.
Right.
It also does not give you a reason to degrade somebody's intelligence. Well, I wasn't too far away to, hear part of what was going on. I just couldn't hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember her running into the back crying. And that's when I had enough. That's when I had enough of him. Like, literally. He made her cry. And I asked her what was wrong. And, and she just couldn't really come out and, get her words together because she was just crying so hard. All that she managed was to say is, he's such a fucking prick. We do all this work and he doesn't appreciate it. Something is always wrong and we can't say anything. I'd say, you want to fucking bet? You really want to fucking bet? Oh, yeah. That was the day my managers learned, do not fuck with me and do not piss me off.
Yeah, right. I think I'm going to cut it off here and go try to lay down because I'm not feeling too well. I appreciate everybody coming out, and thank you, Doom, for coming up on the panel.
You ended too early.
I'm sorry. It's 2 hours and 3 minutes, but like I said, I just started not feeling well, so I need to go lay down. I apologize, but thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate y'all. We'll talk to you later.